Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's preview, as the Glasgow Warriors welcome the Sharks to Scotland in what will be a chance for both sides to try and get their first victory of the tournament. Glasgow Warriors, a very, very entertaining game going down against Ulster last weekend. They played some very, very nice rugby, and I must admit, whilst I always want South African teams to do well, I really liked what I saw from Glasgow Warriors last weekend. I think if I were to sort of develop a second team, I think they're definitely in with a shot. I just really enjoyed the way they went about their business and made things very competitive for Ulster. So it was a very nice performance from them. Still without a lot of their big stars, who are either sort of injured or went international and stuff like that, but similar sort of situation to the Sharks as well. So kind of sort of six-string sides, but we will see that for the first couple of rounds of the URC, so we do need to be braced for that. A couple of changes for the Sharks as well. Before we look at exactly what the teams look like, as well as what to expect from the game, please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Right, and in terms of the teams, there are 5 changes to the Glasgow Warriors team that went down against Ulster last weekend, and that includes an all-new front row, as Jamie Batty and Fraser Brown, very experienced, Fraser Brown being the co-captain of the Glasgow Warriors along with Ryan Wilson, both come into the starting lineup, whilst Murray McCullum will start at tight head in what is just his second game for the Warriors themselves. But it's apart from that, it's a pretty unchanged pack. Richie Gray comes in number 4 jersey, which sees that Scott Cummings shifted to number 5, so it's just a bit of a change in numbers there, but sticking with the same 2 locks. And then loose trio, we've got Ryan Wilson and Thomas Gordon, who comes in for Rory Darge, and then Jack Dempsey, who started last weekend as well. Now, I'm quite upset not to see Rory Darge again this weekend. I thought he was very impressive last weekend. I really liked what I saw. But a chance for Thomas Gordon to sort of show everybody what he's all about. Also changing the halfback combination, Ross Thompson comes in at fly half. He will partner George Horn. And apart from that, it's an unchanged backline with the likes of Roos McLean and Carl Steyn as the 2 wings. And in the midfield, Sam Johnson and Siona Tupaluto. I thought Tupaluto had quite a good game last weekend. And then you got Cole Forbes in at full back. Off the bench for the Glasgow Warriors, George Turner will come on as a replacement hooker, very experienced. They're very lucky to have 2 very experienced campaigners as their 2 sort of hookers. Far less experience across the rest of the scrum replacements. Brad Thayer will be coming off to play just his second game for the Warriors, and Murphy Walker is actually on debut for the Warriors. So a nice opportunity for the home crowd to sort of see what he's about and sort of get used to what they have. It's supposed to be a very good ball carrier is Murphy Walker, so excited to sort of see what he brings to the park tomorrow. Then we've got Lewis Bean and Annie Miller as the 2 forward replacements. Also not too many caps for Glasgow Warriors. And then Jamie Dobby, Pete Horn, who's got 181 caps for the team, so brings in a wealth of experience off the bench. And then Stafford McDowell completes the 23. As I said, I'm upset not to see, the likes of Rory Darge I was quite impressed with, but I mean, lots of people who are still unavailable for the Glasgow Warriors, which include the likes of Sebastian Cancelera, who's obviously with Argentina, Matt Ferguson, Xander Ferguson, Ollie Cable, Ali Price, Duncan Weir, quite a few players who are missing for this weekend. But much the same case with the Sharks, who line up like this. A couple of changes, including a new hooker as Faison Bartek completes his return from injury and goes back into the starting lineup. He starts next to Kwesi Mana and Thomas Latoya, who want to be a little bit more disciplined this weekend. Did get bin last weekend, did Thomas the Tank, but as vice captain, he needs to lead from the front. He is, should be with the Springboks, or would be the Springboks if it wasn't for a family bereavement. So it's quite a bonus that they do have him. Elsewhere, they've brought in Ruben van Heerden at lock, who will partner LaRue Roots. Definitely going for a much bigger side are the Sharks, with Dylan Richardson and the number 6 jersey, and then Gebrand Krobler actually starting at number 7. So once again, a very usual thing where we see in South African sides with a lock moving onto the flank. We've seen it with Ruan Nokia. Obviously, we saw it with Steph Fatoy. We saw it with Franco Moster at the Springboks. It's become quite a normal thing and quite a sort of regular practice within South African sides. So it's not strange to see it happen, but that's how they will line up. And then obviously Pepsi Buthelezi will captain the side. He's just very much heart on the sleeve as Pepsi Buthelezi. I thought he had a pretty decent game last weekend. He's first of all, he's very fit, I think, and brings sort of a tireless sort of amount of work rate. But he's also very much, I'm always sort of impressed by his leadership. He doesn't sort of back down. He was willing to give it to I think it was Ryan Wilson last weekend. I mean, it's not Ryan Wilson. A couple of the players last weekend from Munster, he was happy to sort of have a couple of go at some senior international players in terms of the way they're talking to the referee and stuff like that. So quite mature, very confident in his ability as Pepsi Buthelezi, and very impressed. And just sort of week in, week out, we can see he's a very special player developing within there. Ruan Pienaar will partner Boeta Chamberlain. Boeta Chamberlain, once again, getting backed in the flower half jersey. Curran Bosch starting at full back. The only change, in fact, in the back line is Murray Costa getting a start inside centre ahead of Marius Lowe, which I'm quite excited to see. I quite rate Murray Costa, and I also think that Marius Lowe is a bit, I wouldn't say a weakling, but I think it's probably the one area that they could strengthen that back line. Werner Cox are very capable of placement for the likes of Lekanyo, but a lot of these players will drop out when the Springboks return. The likes of Apelele Fassi, obviously Spooren Corsi, Makazuma Pimpi, Lekanyo, Grant Williams. There's a lot of players coming back to the Sharks, and a lot of these players will then have to sort of fight for their starting spot. But I think inside centre is a potential. As far as I can say, I think the number 12 jersey is up for grabs. Thake Abrams, Yao Penkler will start on the wings. Yao Penkler finishing off a very nice try last weekend. Werner Cock will be looking for lots of work as usual, and then Curran Bosch at fullback will be very important with that boot of his. On the bench, Lawrence Arjansa has come into the 23, bringing a lot of experience. Kieran Fafira and Tuka Mkuno completing the scrum reserves. But in terms of the bulk of the Sharks are bringing in, you look at the 6-2 split that they have gone with. Hiron Andrews, Temulani Bawley, James Fench. That's a lot of physicality coming off the bench. James Fench is very good over the ball, very solid defensive player. Temulani Bawley is a very solid ball carrier. Always gets over the advantage line, so he's a very nice player to be able to bring on as an impact player. And I was quite impressed with how Hiron Andrews was playing towards the end of last year. Haven't seen too much of him this year, but good to see him back in the fray. And then you got Tian May, who comes in place of Snehan Humber and Jamie Ward covering the rest of the backline. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the game down below in the comments. We will be live for it, so do come and hang out with us as well. Smash like on the video, do subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.